Hi, I hope you're having a great day. Well, today I want to talk about mental health. You see, part of fitness, part of great health is not just your physical body. It includes the whole human body has five selves. You have your physical self, you have your emotional self, you have your mental self, you have your spiritual self, and you have your intellectual self. Now, when we talk about having a fit body or a fit mind or being healthy, we need to grow in each of these selves every single day. There's no point having a physically fit body if we're emotionally stressed out and emotionally distressed. There's no point having great spiritual health if our mental health is out of whack. There's no point in having great intellectual health if we've neglected the physical self or the emotional self. You see, part of nature, and we are part of nature, is growing a little bit every single day. In your physical self, your mental self, your emotional self, your intellectual self, and your spiritual self. You see, all of these together allows us to get healthy, because we could be training in the gym all day, but our emotional stress is so bad that we make the wrong eating choices. So you see how your emotional stress affects your physical self. Okay, likewise, we could be so emotionally stressed that we don't feel like working out or we don't feel like moving our body, and that affects our physical stress, our physical self. So today we want to talk about mental health. Now, mental health is a vast subject, but I can't tell you how many people today are suffering from some form of mental health. Now, mental health consists of anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia. It could be panic attacks. It could be hypertension in different ways. It manifests itself in different ways, but it gets this label of mental health. Now, we got to be very, very careful of how we label ourselves and our condition. So if we've had 3 or 4 bad days and we're not feeling good, we tend to say we're depressed. Now, whenever you say you're depressed or you label yourself as something, it becomes a big issue because that gets into your subconscious and you begin to behave that way. Now, there are a lot of cases where people are actually really depressed. Now, that's different. Today, we're very loose with the words that we use. We constantly say, I feel sick all the time. I feel tired all the time. I'm depressed. I'm too stressed. My life is too stressed. What you speak is exactly what you will become. What you speak is exactly how your cells will respond to every single order or every single thing that gets into our subconscious mind. So depression is vast. Just because your girlfriend breaks up with you, or your boyfriend breaks up with you, or you've had some fight with someone, or you got fired from your job, or what, all of these things. These are misfortunes that we have to learn to deal with. Now, it's not easy. But it's also not right to say I'm depressed, because when we're depressed, that means a lot of stuff is going wrong inside of ourselves. So today, when it comes to mental health, we need to, number one, understand. The University of Illinois did this fantastic study. More than 70% of the people who come with mental health problems are given medication with no advice of how making lifestyle changes can improve their mental health. Now, I have a huge problem with this. I'm not against medication. A lot of people with anxiety, bipolar, depression will have to take medication, and they should take it, because if they don't, it can get aggressive and it can get worse. What I'm against is the fact that people think that the medicine is going to heal them, where the medicine is only suppressing their symptom. And I think it's every health practitioner's responsibility and accountability to also guide people who come with mental health issues about lifestyle changes that they can make to make their condition better. You still may need the pill, but you also need to make lifestyle changes. The same thing when it comes to heart disease, cancer, diabetes, any disease. There's nothing wrong with allopathy unless you do it without changing your lifestyle. It is so important to understand, and we're going to talk about that right now. Parts of your lifestyle, when you change it, can actually get you out of depression and anxiety, and can manage your bipolar and all of your issues more effectively. I didn't say cure you, but more effectively. Let's start with nutrition and exercise. It's a huge, huge factor in the way you feel, the way you think. We all know that every thought that you have impacts every cell. Now, we all know this. Okay, we can't stop our mind from thinking negatively. We can't stop ourselves from being hurt. We can't stop ourselves from finding it difficult to forgive people. These are easy things to say, but they're very, very difficult things to do. And it's a constant journey with our inner selves to get better and better at letting go, accepting, forgiving, not being attached to all of these things. So we need to understand that nutrition controls every single thing in your body and your mind, because food is energy to every one of those trillion cells in your brain and in your body. So your cells are either getting the right nutrition or the wrong nutrition. It gets the right nutrition, it can behave in the right way. You get the wrong nutrition, you have innumerable problems that affects your mood at the same time. Let's talk about white sugar. Why do we love sugar? Because it gives us immediate kick like a drug. And then we have a crash when the effect of sugar comes down and we need more and more. So you see, that's not giving us a real sense of energy. It's giving us a false sense of energy and basically messing up our entire health. But when you look at nutrition and diets that are rich in fruits, rich in vegetables, rich in nuts, rich in seeds, rich in whole grains, in balance, everything that nature has given you, that's everything that your cells need. When your cells get the raw material for what it needs, it can build what it has to build. Be it your mental health, the health of your neurons, the health of your muscles, your joints, everything in the human body. Your cells need the right raw material to do the building job. So nutrition plays a huge role in depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all of these things. Why does chocolate make us feel good? Why do certain foods make us feel good? And why do certain foods make us feel toxic and heavy and sleepy? So just knowing that means that improving your nutrition can improve the state of your mental health. What about exercise? We all know today that people have become sedentary. And a sedentary lifestyle is the most damaging thing to our mental health, our physical health, every part of our health. The human body was never designed to sit or to be inactive. The human body was designed to move. And the more we move, the more we feel better. Why? Because there are hormones like endorphins, which stimulates oxytocin. When you have the right amount of oxytocin, you have a lift of serotonin. Serotonin, dopamine, all the hormones that help you feel good. So you may be depressed because of a problem that's in your life, but if you can get your hormones to work for you the right way, it is going to help you with the condition that you're going through. It's the same thing. Human touch is so important. When we have human touch in a respectful way, we feel good. We crave human touch. You've seen a baby cuddle with the mother and the father. They crave human touch because they feel secure, because there's oxytocin. There are all these hormones that work to make us feel good. It is so important for us to feel good today. And a lot of us feel good, but because we're focused on one problem. I want to give you this example of this lady who met me yesterday. She's overweight. You can categorize her as obese. And she said, I just don't like myself. And I said, how do you feel before you sleep every night? She's saying, I feel good. I feel good about life. But she's focused on what she doesn't feel good about, which is her weight. So you see, sometimes where you put your attention, it grows. So it's so important for all of us to understand, where am I directing my attention and my energy? If it's on the wrong thing, that's going to become bigger and bigger in your life. Now, it may be a problem, but if you focus on those few little good things that we have in our life, no matter what's going on wrong in your life, believe me, you start to feel good. And good health is all about feeling good. I can't tell you how many guys have six packs and how many girls have size 0 figures. They look great, but they don't feel good inside. That's not good health for sure. Good health is, at the end of the day, you can ask yourself one question. Do I feel good inside? That is good health. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. Now, when it comes to your diet, it is so important to understand that the more real food you put into your system, the better you're going to feel. When you put in all this processed food, this gluten-free rubbish, unless you have a gluten intolerance, you know, all these foods are artificially stimulated. You need to understand that there's trans-glutaminize added into these foods that affect your gut. And just because there's no gluten, we think, oh, gluten-free is great for us. There's a small population of people that need to be on gluten-free because they're celiac. There's a small population that needs to be lactose-free because they cannot digest lactose. The rest of it is all a big fad being pushed by the food lobbies to sell products. Be it keto foods and keto flours and, you know, gluten-free flours and all of that. That's a food industry. That's a food lobby that is more powerful than you can think. Use it if you need it. Dump it if you don't need it, because it is not giving your cells anything that it needs to build your physical health and to build your mental health. You'd rather want to put in discipline, find out why you're not losing weight, why your gut is messed up, all of these things. And it comes down to discipline. People are overeating, but they don't want to accept it. People want to overdrink, they don't want to accept it. People don't want to improve their sleep, they don't want to accept it. People are stressed out and they expect their health to get better. But here we are spending money on all these fads, which is never going to make us better. So again, when it comes to your diet, understand that certain foods create brain fog in your mind. And then you feel, I'm low, I'm fatigued, I'm depressed. Your mind starts labeling yourself with something that you're not even close to. So people who are constipated, I keep on going on about constipation. People say, keep proving it with science. We don't need science. We need common sense when it comes to constipation. You are supposed to pass out dirty stool from your stomach. Why? It's waste product. If you keep it into your system, can you imagine keeping waste product in your colon, which is supposed to be out of your body? You don't need science for that. You need common sense to understand that waste is supposed to be out of your body, not inside your body. And if it's inside of your body, you're going to have estrogen dominance, you're going to have gut issues, you're going to have inflammation, and you're going to have brain fog. Think of the gases that get produced when you have toxic waste that is in your system. What's it going to affect? Your brain. You're going to have brain fog. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel fatigued. And then you think you need more caffeine. Then you think you're depressed. Then a little problem, something that's not going well in your life, suddenly becomes magnified. And that becomes your depression trigger and all of that stuff. So we got to live mindfully with a little more common sense. Your diet plays a huge role, huge role. I know people where their water intake is 3 to 4 glasses in a day and they have constant brain fog. They only increase their hydration levels and the brain fog disappears. So you see, I'm not taking away from people who are truly depressed. I'm making a point over here for people who label themselves as depressed when all they need to do is make shifts in their lifestyle. So exercise, walking, yoga, dancing, anything that makes you happy and gets those endorphins moving and that oxytocin being produced is going to make you feel happy. But if you engage yourself in the exercise that you don't like doing, but you're doing it because all your friends are doing it and you think it's going to make you fit, it's not going to work for you and it is not going to produce endorphins. Do something that makes you happy, something that you look forward to the next day and the next day. I love yoga because it's flexibility. Every movement is in coordination with your breath, which has a huge impact on your mental health and your physical health. So be it yoga, pranayama, the power of oxygen. Today, so many people are stressed. We need to understand that the human body and mind is not designed for the amount of stress that we are going through as adults. Forget about adults. Look at children. They have a social calendar that can put an adult's social calendar to shame. It's ridiculous. And unless parents start making a change and putting their foot down, because there are so many parents out there who are like, this is the new fad, let's do it. Send our kids for parties. No, you are a parent, you decide. A child is not designed to go through the amount of peer pressure that they go through today. And a lot of parents think, oh, it'll make them strong. Yep, it'll make them strong, but emotionally weak and emotionally destroyed. And that's the biggest issue that we have in our generation right now. Emotionally weak people. And you can see that in the amount of suicides and suicides and all of the medical problems and all of these issues that are happening. So you see, life gives us statistics and we got to start listening to them and making changes at a root cause level. You have young girls coming in with depression, young boys because of peer pressure, grades, all of these things. Most of the successful people in the world today, their grades didn't matter. I'm not saying that grades don't matter at all, but we got to look at that side of the story as well. So give your children a chance to grow up. They don't need 5 extracurricular activities every day after school, so they come home tired. They don't have time with their parents, family. They're fed and putting not living. We have to be responsible for our next generation and what we do. Just because we have our own fears and insecurities, it doesn't mean we take it out on our children and we try to mold their lives into something which is far from natural. So stress is extremely important for your mental health. If you're constantly stressed, you have mental issues. It's as simple as that. Your mental stress will dictate your behavior, like anger, irritation, irritability, shouting, violence. All of this is dictated when our mind cannot be calm. So the tools for that is meditation, pranayama, breathing, finding a hobby, doing things that you really, really love. We all know all of this stuff, but that's why it plays such an important role in our mental health. In most of the mental health cases that come to us, not one of them have a hobby. Not one of them have something that they can look forward to. So we need to create that for them so they can distract themselves from the problem they have onto something that helps them feel good inside. Sleep. I keep talking about sleep again. If you do not have the right amount of sleep, you wake up fatigued. Your brain is fatigued. You make the wrong food choices. You make the wrong exercise choices. You're irritable. Your behavior is controlled by how your cells feel, which is why sleep is the most important thing. And today, children are cutting down their sleep to satisfy their social calendars and all the extracurricular classes that they have. It's ridiculous. Adults as well. Working out 5 days a week and then they up till 5 or 6 in the morning. I'm not saying don't have a good time. I'm saying where can you start finding balance? Where you have a good time, not at the cost of your health, and everything is adjusted. Because if we do too many of these things, socializing, over drinking, all of that stuff, these are coping mechanisms that humans use to feel better. To feel better. You can go on increasing your coping mechanisms, but if you don't address the root cause of why you're sad, why you're stressed, why things are not working out for you, you can't go on through life using coping mechanisms. At some point, life is going to make you face what you feel inside. So when you meditate, you get into your system, you start looking at your ego, your pride, your ability to forgive, why you can't let go, why you can't accept. These are bitter truths that we have to face at some point. And meditation, sleep, all of these things help you. Mental health is also dictated by the environment you surround yourself with. I can't tell you how many people label themselves as depressed because they're in the wrong company. They're in the wrong social groups. They surround themselves by people who do not uplift them, but by people who make them feel low, feel less, feel ridiculed, feel judged. That is not the space for you. It is your responsibility to surround yourself with people who uplift you, people who are positive, people who are genuinely there for you, who care for you, all of these things. Everything else is material, sending gifts to each other, late night parties, clubs, spending money, buying people drinks. Superficial. The question you ask yourself is, do I truly feel good when I'm with these people? Can I be my true self, or do I have to wear mask after mask just to fit into different groups in society? If you are that person, change your group and you will change your mental health. It's as simple as that. Spend more time in nature. That's why whenever we're surrounded by nature, we automatically feel good inside. You go to a beach, you go to a mountain, you're surrounded by nature, you feel good. Something as simple as watching a sunset or a sunrise. It calms us down because we're products of nature. These are the things we align to. But when you're in a concrete jungle, you don't get nature, you're constantly stressed, you have all of these issues. So surround yourself by nature. Talk and express yourself. We have so many friends on Facebook, social media, likes, all of that crap, but yet we have very few relationships where we can express ourselves. Sometimes the most powerful healing when it comes to emotional issues and mental issues is the ability for you to talk to someone, express yourself without being judged, without being advised, without being fixed. It is called compassionate listening and compassionate speaking. Find a group, find a person who can listen to you, only listen and not advise, and empty your heart out. Most of the stuff we keep inside basically grows and festers into all emotional and mental problems. And we're scared to express because we're scared. Our self-esteem is so low. We're afraid that we'll be judged and ridiculed and all of that stuff. But sometimes when you just let it all out, you are liberated. That is true freedom. That is true freedom and true liberation. It only can come from inside, not from around you. We're living in a country which claims we're free and liberated, but just look at all the crap that's happening around us. We still feel threatened, women still feel unsafe, and we feel unsafe about our children and all of these things. That's not freedom. Freedom comes from within you, and you are responsible to find that freedom when you're able to get everything out of your system and express it to someone. That person doesn't have to be your wife or your husband or your mom or your child. It could be a friend. It could be anyone where you feel safe to express. But the more you let it out, the more it is. It finally comes down to two words: acceptance and letting go. Think of every problem that you have right now. Whether you're going through a bad relationship, you're unable to forgive, whatever it is, you apply these two words: acceptance, letting go. Easy to say, very, very difficult to implement. The strength to implement letting go and acceptance comes from within. That's why I'm saying spend time within. Meditate, be in silence, look within. When you look within, you find out reasons why it's so difficult for you to accept and so difficult for you to let go. And when you break those barriers and you're able to let go and accept without it hurting you inside, you are free. And finally, it comes down to simple things in life like gratitude. We're constantly focusing on the things that we don't have. We may be at the most depressed stage in our life, but there will be one or two things that you can be grateful for. Push your attention over there, no matter how difficult it is. No matter how difficult it is. Put your attention on the little things that you have that you can be grateful for, and it will let you feel, if not a whole load better, a little bit better. Look at things like appreciation and respect. We all want appreciation and respect, but remember, you cannot have appreciation and respect unless you start appreciating and respecting yourself. If you cannot appreciate and respect yourself first, no amount of appreciation and respect from outside is going to make you feel good. So if you want appreciation and respect to make you feel good, first appreciate and respect yourself. Then appreciate and respect people around you. And then you open the channel towards true appreciation and respect. And that is what makes everything better. I'll finally leave you with one more point. If you're at the most depressed point in your life or you think your mental health isn't good, work on giving back. Work on giving back. It is the most fulfilling thing that you can ever do. I'm not saying write out checks and give money. It never has to be money. Spend time with the sick people. Spend time at old age homes. Do something that makes you feel good inside. And this happens when you give without expectation. This is one of the most powerful drugs to alter and change our mental health immediately. So if you are dependent on medication fixing you alone, you are never going to get out of a vicious cycle of mental health. Take your medicines if you have to, but these are lifestyle changes which are inexpensive and free. And it's up to you. You are responsible and accountable to make that change. Because when our mental health is poor, we become victims. We go into victim mode and we think everyone around us should be good to us because we are the victim. We make ourselves the victim. And it's responsible for us to get out of victim mode, because when we get out of victim mode, that's the only time we can see clearly and move forward. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.